3. This chair is much cooler anyway. Wherever this chair, sorry, kneecap, I apologize. Okay. Whew. Ooh, okay. This is kind of weird, but comfy, cozy. Okay, welcome to another edition of Fish on Fridays. Yeah. So, Neil, what is Lent? What's kind of the gist?
I'll tell you what Lent is not, Hannah. It's not the stuff that magically appears in your belly button.
Lint?
Right. It's not Lent.
What is...
It's different.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
That's a start.
Lent is a time of preparation. We're preparing for Christ's ultimate sacrifice for us. So sometimes we can think of it as a dark time of giving things up, but in reality, we're actually kind of getting pumped and preparing ourselves for the great joy that is Easter and Christ's death and resurrection for us, for our salvation. Neat!
When Jesus goes in the desert for 40 days and he is fasting and he's being tempted, it kind of hit me. That is like Jesus's Lent. He was preparing, he was fasting, he was being tempted. It's an awesome time to learn more about God, to grow closer to God, to say, you know, I can't do this on my own, but I can do this with God.
Sometimes maybe we get a little bit self-absorbed in our Lenten ideas of what we're going to give up and stuff like that, and then we think, oh, I'm going to be a baller and get through this by myself, but it's not really about us and us getting through it. It's about God helping us to get through it.
Exactly. So what happens, are there times where we feel like we're alone and where we need someone to help us get through it?
You know what? I'm glad you asked, Hannah. Wow. How convenient, because I was reading in my little black book today, which all of you should pick up from your local parish. They probably have these little black books, little Lenten reflections for every day. Here we go. I'll just start here and then exit.
Great. Found a starting spot.
My little black book says, for today's entry, oh man, story time with Neely, I guess. Favorite was the scooting. All 4 gospel. Okay, I can't even. It's like you tried to make it inconspicuous, but you just made it 10 times more conspicuous. This was great reflection. Okay, it says, all 4 Gospels have the disciples leave after the arrest of Jesus. Matthew and Mark describe it as a flight. Luke doesn't mention any flight, but the disciples are noticeably absent during the rest of his passion narrative. Assuming that Jesus knew Peter was nearby, was this a consolation for him? Hardly. That's actually what it says. I just did a nice speech thing. I looked down and then looked up at it. Jesus was never more alone, humanly speaking, than when Peter said 3 times that he was not Jesus' disciple. And then it goes on to say here, there are times when I feel very much alone. Friends, even close friends, can't fully be with me at my deepest level when I suffer a major setback, heartache, or loss. Ever experienced that aloneness? Talk to the Lord about it. He's been there. So it's easy to feel alone.
Even sometimes when you're with other people, like in this situation.
Jesus was surrounded by his disciples, who then got scared because Jesus was going to be taken away.
Yeah.
And left him kind of alone.
Yeah, and then even
the dude who stayed with him, Peter, his brother,
kind of followed along,
but then
denied him, left him alone. And then sometimes in our own lives, we can be sitting with a bunch of people or amongst a crowd and feel all alone.
Mm-hmm. I remember a time when I felt very much alone. I was a small child living in a Chicago suburb, and it was Christmas time. I unfortunately got left behind. You know, I tried to learn how to shave for the first time by myself, get some groceries. I tried to comb my hair. And to top it all off, when I was feeling most alone at home, these two burglars came around and they started to...
Neil, isn't this the plot to Home Alone? Like the movie Home Alone?
No, not at all. Set up all kinds of traps.
This is definitely Home Alone.
So if you're feeling alone, know that you have support.
Yeah.
Friends, family, but ultimately, the ultimate provider of support, God.
Yeah.
He'll help you through this Lent season and through life in general.
The big fish in the pond.
Back to the fish.
Back to the fish.
Speaking of fish, this has been Fish on Fridays. Peace and love, brothers and sisters. Foff out.
This just sounds creepy now.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
That whole thing did not just happen.
Hey, look, the chair's alone. Not funny.